Thank you for tuning in to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast, a no judgment zone podcast that covers lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. Even though KC doesn't watch sports, but these are minor details. By the way, he reads tarot cards too. Yes, I really mean it. He reads tarot cards too. And now, the host you've tuned in for, KC Phoenix.
Good morning from Dallas, Texas, and welcome again to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I am your host, KC Phoenix. Okay, I am doing my best to get my energy out this morning. Believe it or not, I woke up about an hour earlier than I normally wake up. And then when I woke up, I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get up. And that's what I did. So I started working on some things, and I have some bandwidth today. So I will probably put up a few more episodes today than I usually do, because usually I do 2 to 3 episodes a day with the lucky numbers, the daily thought, or either a news story or something of that nature. It is what I usually do, a mix of something. But today I'm doing a daily thought. I've already done the lucky numbers. I will more than likely do I'm doing the dog story today. So for those who are interested in the dog story, I'm recording that after I finish recording this. So yeah, I'm doing that. And then I will more than likely do the quick 3 tarot as well. I really, really feel like, because the daily thought today is sort of related to what the day is and what I have been talking about for the last few days in regards to the lunar eclipse for today. And yeah, so I might do a quick 3 tarot just to see if I pick up on any energy off of that today, or if it's going to be something totally different. I don't even know. I don't even know what deck I'll use yet. But I digress. Before I go any further, kirwkc.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. And as you can see, I'm recording video. So for those who want to watch the video on Spotify, it is there for you to watch. You can see my lovely visage, or visage as some people say. As for the daily thought, you know, restraint, as I mentioned in the title, is a superpower. And I'm talking about restraint right now. I mentioned before, if you go back to my episode about the lunar eclipse, don't feed into the negativity, there are a lot of things that we as people have the ability to do to affect others. And when we're wronged, we might feel the ability to do something, or when we feel that there is something that was done wrong to someone else, we may do that. My thing is that not everything requires a response. Not everything requires an action. I've really, really learned that over the years. Also, believe it or not, as blunt as I am, and I can be very, very blunt at times, I still don't just come out and say every single thing I could say. It doesn't mean that I can't say it, which is an episode within itself. Just because I don't say it doesn't mean I can't. I just know that first thing, and I mentioned this before quite a few times, is that once something is said, you can't unsay it. It always amazes me, and people know this is a pet peeve of mine, where someone says something, then they apologize, and it's like, oh, but I was angry. Okay, but first of all, don't like apologies. If apologies fixed everything, we wouldn't need laws or policemen. Second of all, it's still done. It's still said. You can't unhear it. You can't unsay it. It is still done. And even when you're angry with someone, even if the anger is justified, restraint is a superpower, is what it is. For me, I have a situation, and I don't think I've talked about this. I know people are like watching this video like, why is he pointing his scissors at the camera? I do random things like this sometimes. Man, I have ADHD. So, yeah, and for those who attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, I'm all over the place. And I had seen my scissors and I was like, oh, okay, let me just pick these up while I'm talking. But back to what I was saying. I don't believe I've talked about this on my podcast. And also I'm very animated too. I have had situations, and I've dealt with one situation with an individual. And I knew this individual was lying to me. And I could have said some stuff about it, and I could have even taken it even further and said some stuff to really hurt that individual's feelings. Because one thing about me, don't forget, I'm intuitive. You know, cancers are intuitive. We can say some very, very, very hateful, mean stuff that will cut you right to your heart. And it will be with you for the rest of your life. Because we'll know exactly what to say. Because we're intuitive. We usually know what pushes people's buttons. We know their insecurities. We know how to emotionally destabilize someone if we want to go there, if we want to tap into that dark side of the gift of intuition. I don't do that because it's like I'm not a malicious person. And the thing about me is restraint. Even though I have that ability to where I can say certain things, and I know that I can say certain things to people that will just rip them to shreds, I just don't. I don't take it to that level. And we all have things that we can do to people that could take it to a whole nother level. But if you don't, that's a superpower. Restraint is a superpower. I chose to just walk away from the situation. I chose not to feed into the energy. Because the person who was lying to me, I was like, this individual, they have issues of their own. So there's that. The second thing is that it has the potential to create more chaos. Because then, if they're quote unquote hurt or offended, then they feel that they were attacked. Because don't forget, you're the villain in someone's story. Listen to that daily thought. Everyone is the villain in someone's story. And they may already see you as the villain, or they may want to find a reason to cast you as the villain. So what I do is I just remove myself from the situation altogether. I don't engage. Now, if you ask me how I feel about something, I'll tell you how I feel. I just won't go, I just won't go there like I could go there. I'll still be direct. I'll still be concise and very, very clear. But I just won't go. I won't feed into the negative side of it. It's like, okay, well, you asked me the question, I'm giving you the answer. And of course, we want to do that. We want to be open with people. We want to be honest with people. We want to have a dialogue with people. We want to interact with people as best we can. However, if you are in a situation where you're dealing with someone who's just toxic, or they have toxic tendencies, because a person can be a good person, but then they can have toxic tendencies too. So yeah, because you have people who are just toxic, as in that's their spirit. I was thinking about that last night. I forgot what was making me think about that. It was something about succubus, where I know what it was. Okay, because someone had said that hurt people, and I was like, I don't agree with that. That's too broad of a thing. With rationalizing, yes, I get it. People go through stuff. People are on their own journey, and things happen, and it forces them to change as well. I get that. But I also get that some people, they thrive off of negativity. They thrive in a toxic environment. If there isn't some type of toxicity associated to the relationships they have, or if there isn't some type of toxicity in their orbit, then their star starts to go dim. The only way that their star can be fed is by this toxic energy. If the toxic energy isn't around, then they don't have anything to feed on. And there are some people, that's how their spirit is. I call it a malevolent spirit, is what it is. There's just some people like that. And all you can do is just wish them well. And the person I'm talking about, this person isn't like that. This person is actually a good person. They just have some toxic tendencies. But going back to it, with those toxic tendencies, I decided not to invest my energy, my time, my thoughts, anything into the situation. Because there's a lot I could say. There's a lot I could do. I have restraint, is what I have. And that's what I wish more people would practice, is restraint. Instead of going to the darker side of things, where, and not to get too political because I'm not really trying to go there, but I'll just use this as an example. When people feel the need to riot, that's the darker side of things. Again, you can be direct and concise. You can be direct by making sure your vote counts. You can be direct by making sure you call your congressman or congresswoman on the state level, on the federal level, your governor, whoever deals with the boards and stuff, things like that, the school boards and all this other stuff, knowing how the system works, knowing that you're reaching out. You can be direct by organizing and getting others to reach out with you to bring a voice of reason to a situation that you feel is unbalanced. But when you go to the other side just because you feel you're not being heard, or you feel that the only way to make people see things your way is by going to the negative side, the darker side of things, then that's where it's not good. That's where you have to practice restraint. I had to learn that. I really, really did. Because for those who are my longtime listeners, you already know, I'm still a work in progress. I have had anger management issues. It is what I've had for my entire life. I've had anger management issues. Part of it has been because I was bullied when I was younger. And when stuff gets pent up, it's just like, okay. And you're talking to some of the things I've done, yeah. I can tell you, and mind you, I was even at one point in the hospital, which I mentioned this on my show before, because of my anger management issues, because when I would snap, and it can still be like that. If I feed into the dark side, if I don't practice restraint, then yeah, I will snap and not care. It is what it is. However, as I've been a work in progress, and the divine has worked with me over the years, I've gotten better at restraint. And I'm just like, it's amazing when I encounter these situations. And I'm like, okay, let me just approach this a little differently. Let's not just go in blazing. Let's not do that. Remember, I told the story about the wasp yesterday. For those who didn't listen to it, it's on the episode about the scorpion plague that happened in Egypt. And yeah, listen to the episode if you haven't listened to it. But with restraint, it is truly a superpower. It is. And because restraint is a superpower, my question to you is this: do you want to be a superhero, or do you want to be a super villain? Now, don't get me wrong, like I said before, you're always going to be the villain in someone's story. No matter what you do to make it right. But I'm talking about the restraint part. The restraint part is walking away. The restraint part is not seeking someone's emotional destruction, not seeking someone's physical destruction, not seeking someone's mental destruction, not seeking someone's spiritual destruction. Not seeking those things. That is restraint. Not seeking someone's professional destruction. That is restraint. Restraint is a superpower. Do you want to be the superhero, or do you want to be the supervillain? If for some reason I'm hearing right now, I love to be the supervillain. Villains are cool. Yeah, I like villains too. But really, like, come on. Come on now. Superheroes, they're pretty cool. And if you have a superpower, and you know what I'm about to say, with great power comes great responsibility. So, during this lunar eclipse with the quote-unquote demon star today, Algol, Look it up, or either listen to my reading for the collective that I did. Don't feed into the negativity. It's a few episodes back. I really want people to practice restraint. I really want people to be superheroes, because the thing about this energy is, when I was reading up on the energy, because they're talking about it's affiliated with the demon star Algol, which is this unpredictable star, unpredictable energy, but they're also saying it can go the other way too as well. So things can go really good or things can go really bad. They say the things that usually happen during this period is like mob violence, attacks, all type of other stuff. But instead of tearing people and things down, how about we build people and things up and do that instead? I remember one of the most coolest quotes in the world, and it's really a really basic quote, and from a cartoon of all things. It was on the 90s X-Men, which, by the way, I have to throw this out there. The 90s X-Men cartoon is the best X-Men cartoon series, period. They just haven't been able to do it as good since. Just saying. And I still say Angela Bassett should have been Storm in the X-Men movies. Halle Berry, I'm cool with you, even though you said that, what you said about Cardi B being the queen of hip-hop. And I love Cardi, but no, Lil' Kim is the queen mother and always will be. But I digress. In X-Men, there was an episode where the Phoenix went, bad and became the Dark Phoenix. And when she was the Dark Phoenix, she had said there's two powers in this world. The power to create and the power to destroy. My thing is, use your power to create instead of destroy things. You may want to destroy someone's professional career. You may want to destroy someone's mental stability. You may want to destroy someone's emotional stability. You may want to destroy someone's spiritual foundation. You may want to destroy a person in general for whatever reason. And you could probably do it. You may have the ability to do it. But restraint is a superpower. What do you want to be? The superhero or the supervillain? And that is my daily thought. kirwkc.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.